What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TB Toycast YouTube channel, and today I am unboxing from McFarlane Toys and the DC Multiverse line. It is Deathstroke, and what an awesome figure. Deathstroke, of course, always been a favorite character of mine from the DC universe. Of course, a lot of similarities to maybe Deadpool from Marvel, but always been a really fun character, and he's been in a lot of different comic books. I believe he's actually featured in like season 2 of Arrow. It's kind of like the big bad of that season. They teased him early on with the mask and stuff, but always thought Deathstroke was a really fun character. In fact, years ago they did a video game called Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. That game blew my mind. I was like, what? I can have Scorpion versus Batman? Like, sign me up. And they only did 10 characters from each brand. While it was a great game, it was a little like light on the characters, which I was always kind of disappointed in. But Deathstroke actually was one of the 10, which I always thought was really cool. So it shows he was obviously a heavy hitter character, heavy enough that they were like, yeah, we're gonna include him in here. And like I said, I've always been a big Deathstroke guy. There's obviously been a lot of Deathstroke figures from the McFarlane line, and but I think this is kind of the end all be all for me. In fact, they have a new one coming up, which I believe is in the DC Collectors line, kind of a more '90s style. But I don't know. This is kind of like, I don't think it gets better than this. This thing looks amazing, and we're going to kind of take a closer look at it so you guys can see. But, I mean, I really love the detail there in the costume. The mask, of course. Got a couple of weapons as well. Of course, we got the stand, as always, and the trading card back there. DC Rebirth. I was actually a big fan of the Rebirth comics. I read a lot of those. I kind of go in and out of comic book reading. I don't know. I love the artwork on the back here. I'm actually a big fan of what I call the roster. Basically what's coming out. I always thought that was a trademark of action figures because, I know Jack specific with the old bone crunching days, they did it really well where it was like everything they had coming and like the whole back of the card was basically product placement. Really made you excited for what they had, and oftentimes you found new stuff like, oh my gosh, they're doing a tag team 2-packs, I gotta get those. Whatever it might have been. But, that was kind of a trademark of action figures. We're not seeing that as much anymore. I don't think I like it, but I do like this artwork. So 6 in one, half a dozen of the other, isn't that what they say? That's what the kids call it nowadays. It's like, I like this, but I would love to see like down here, like also from DC Multiverse, 1, 2, 3, not the whole line, of course, but 3 or 4 different figures. I think that would be cool. Of course, we do know McFarlane is losing the DC license at least to some degree. Rumor has it that we are gonna be getting the retro line is going to continue, like the Super Friends or 66 Batman, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Or maybe certain versions they will be able to continue to do, who knows. But Mattel is taking over DC, at least in late 2026. What do you guys think about that? I have a lot of DC figures to unbox, so we'll have DC Multiverse for a long time to come on this channel. But it kind of makes me wonder, how people are going to do it. Because it's so easy to say, well, once this is done, I'm no longer collecting these. I'm going to start unboxing this bad boy here. But I've said that with a bunch of lines, like when McFarlane got DC, I kind of dabbled in some of the Mattel DC Multiverse, but it's like, yeah, I'm done. Done with those. Not buying those anymore. And then, McFarlane, little by little, started winning me over. I'm like, oh, those really look cool. I'm like, wow, those are fun. And here we are, probably 100 figures later, right? So it does happen. I get it. I'm just kind of curious if you guys plan to collect this. So drop it in the comments down below if you are going to be diving into the Mattel DC figures. Let me know. Again, a lot of that, I think, we don't know, right? I mean, and that's kind of part of the deal, right? Like, it's easy to say, like, no, I'm not collecting it, but we don't know what those figures are going to look like yet. We can speculate, we can have ideas, or, well, they'll look like the old ones, or they'll do like the He-Man, Masterverse figures, but we really don't know. We don't know anything yet, so, man, I did not do that very well. Well, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think, like any toy collector, anything can get us hyped up, and then it kind of changes our opinions on stuff, so I'm a wait-and-see guy. I'm kind of curious how many figures they're going to be producing. It's Mattel, so you would think it would be a lot. But here's another thing. Take a look at this card here. Really nice card. I dig that, of course. DC stand. Always fun. I do like that they don't skimp out. We're still getting stands. The twist ties were not even in place. But you know what? I'm okay with it because those things suck. But, Mattel has the WWE license as well. We've seen a couple of crossovers with WWE with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and He-Man and probably some others, I'm assuming, by the time this drops. We could even have a new announcement. Who's to say? But what if we got a DC WWE crossover? How cool would that be? I think that'd be really fun. We got some type of liquid. I don't know what that is. He's sweating a little bit. I don't necessarily care for that. But good figure, of course. Classic. I don't know. Something happened there. That's kind of gross. But classic McFarlane articulation that we're all used to. Love the head sculpt on this guy. Love the details that McFarlane does on the costume. Because this could just be the solid black color, but they put the detail in there. Always thought that was a really cool touch. Of course, we're going to put this knife right here. Got a little holder there. May need to go the other way. There we go. Fits a little bit better. And a pretty cool looking sword. I'll work that into his hand there. Very cool. Not a ton of accessories, but as you probably have learned from watching this channel, unless it's your first time, which I do appreciate you guys checking it out, I don't necessarily care for a ton of accessories. I feel like we just lose them anyway, or we end up putting them in bags. It's like, what's the point? So that's a cool looking figure. I've always been a Deathstroke guy. Cool card, of course. Can read the little bio here. Slade Wilson is a mercenary and assassin for hire with no qualms about crossing lines to get the job done. No matter where those lines are drawn, a formidable operative for the U.S. military, Colonel Slade Wilson agreed to undergo an experimental process that increased his mental and physical abilities to superhuman levels. Rather than continue his career as a soldier, Slade became the masked mercenary Deathstroke. This decision resulted in his wife leaving him and his son Joseph being permanently injured, as well as the death of his son Grant, who sought to emulate Slade. Kind of a quick bio with a lot more questions than answers on that one. Don't worry, I'm not signing up to be on Audible anytime soon. But overall, a really cool figure. Like I said, there's been a lot of Deathstroke figures over the years, and I know we have more to come. I actually have a Superpowers Deathstroke as well, which is actually kind of cool because he didn't have an original Superpowers. But the DC Multiverse line is always going to be a favorite of mine. I think these are excellent. And, I know McFarlane has a licensing deal coming up with Mortal Kombat, which, spoiler, those will be on the channel when they start hitting. In fact, I think I'm going to include them with my DC Multiverse collection because I think they're really cool and they're going to be the same style. But, the thing is, DC Multiverse has been a really, really fun property. And I feel like McFarlane really went up several notches with these figures. So I don't think it would be shocking that McFarlane lands another big licensing deal if he does lose DC, like we're all assuming. Because I still think he might retain rights to do certain things, but maybe not everything. And I think if that's the case, because look at DC right now. Spin Master's making DC. McFarlane's making DC. A lot of companies are. So I don't think he's totally losing it like we are thinking. I think he'll be able to do certain things, and who knows? Maybe the style will continue on in Page Punchers or something else because they're all the same style figures. So I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But all in all, McFarlane's done a really good job with these figures. I think it'll be really cool to see what he's able to do in the future. No licensing deal lasts forever, unfortunately. I think we're kind of used to guys like Mattel with the Elite line lasting over almost 120 waves now, plus all the other waves. So it's been a long road. But again, every now and then that stuff ends and a new company gains access. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, of course. But that being said, there's a lot of cool DC Multiverse figures and a lot of cool ones coming. I think he's going to pull out all the stops. I think all the ones we want are going to be hitting soon. And I'll be honest, I think this figure will definitely hit that classic Deathstroke, not Deathstroke, he's not a G.I. Joe, that classic Deathstroke vibe for a lot of people. Like, if you are, like, I want a Deathstroke figure, but just one, this might be the one you go with. Now, the one in blue that's upcoming could also probably be that, but man, I think this one's amazing. I think it is a great, great figure. Got a little placeholder to hold his sword if he needs to, which is really fun. But like I said, I love the details of the costume. Just absolutely, unbelievably well designed. And McFarlane knocks it out of the park pretty much every time. And I think that's where a lot of us have dove into these. I know a lot of my friends who are not necessarily DC fans or necessarily fans of these figures, but they're like, man, those are excellent, excellent figures. Maybe I'm not a DC guy, maybe I'm not even a comic book guy, but I can admit those are really, really nice looking figures. So who's to say what McFarlane might end up with in the very near future? He's also, of course, doing statues and a ton of other stuff. So I think McFarlane will be fine. We'll just have to see what happens. And that's what kind of keeps the toy world exciting, right? New stuff always happening. But I appreciate you guys checking out the TV Toycast YouTube channel, of course. This week alone, I had a couple of really fun videos. Earlier this week, I did starting lineup, Nolan Ryan, which was really, really fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And then on Monday, I did Mo from The Simpsons. So a lot of variety on this channel. That's what I like to do. I try to keep it fun. So give everyone as much variety as I can. And hopefully you guys enjoy it as much as I do. So, yep, check those out as well. And also check out Tales of the Toy Box. We're dropping a new episode every single month. And, of course, on Saturdays, What's on the Pegs? See what I'm finding when I'm going out on my toy hunts. Check it out, What's on the Pegs. Episode 8 dropped earlier this week, or 9 possibly, I don't know. Whenever you're watching this, who knows? But there's a new episode every Saturday, so check those out as well. And, of course, check out the TB Toycast podcast every Thursday with me and Travis. We have a different main event covering a classic toy line, probably from the past, most likely, as well as talking about all the news and happenings in the toy world for that week. So check out the TB Toycast wherever you get your podcast. But I appreciate you guys checking out the channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. More DC figures will be coming very, very soon. Thank you guys. Make sure to subscribe. That's Deathstroke, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.